What do you do when everything you've worked for, everything you thought was perfect, comes crashing down in an instant? For Harper, it all changed with a single slap in the middle of a restaurant, a slap that shattered not just her marriage, but her sense of self. But what came after that moment would become the greatest triumph of her life. Stay tuned to hear how Harper turned the worst moment of her life into a journey of self-discovery, empowerment, and a future she never imagined. Don't forget to subscribe to hear more stories of resilience and triumph. I never imagined I'd be telling this story, but here I am. That night changed everything. My perfect marriage, my dreams, my entire world came crashing down with a single slap. But looking back now, being thrown to the floor in that restaurant was the wake-up call I needed. I'm Harper, a tech product manager from Seattle, and this is how I turned the worst moment of my life into my greatest triumph. From the outside, everything seemed perfect. You know the couples you see on Instagram, picture-perfect marriages? That was us. 3 years of what appeared to be pure bliss. Weekend brunches, matching Christmas sweaters, and vacation photos that made everyone else envious. David was the charming software engineer who swept me off my feet, and I was the ambitious product manager climbing the corporate ladder. We were the couple everyone aspired to be. I can still picture myself that evening, adjusting my new blue dress in the mirror, the one I'd bought specifically for our anniversary dinner. The promotion letter was tucked in my purse, and I couldn't stop smiling. Senior product manager at 28. I'd worked so hard for this moment late nights, leading cross-disciplinary teams and proving myself in a male-dominated industry. David had always been my biggest supporter, or so I thought. Our families were close, maybe too close. David's parents lived just 15 minutes away, and his mother, Eleanor, was always around, saying she was just checking on my babies, showing up uninvited with homemade casseroles and unsolicited advice. She constantly dropped hints about grandchildren, sending me articles about freezing eggs or the dangers of waiting too long. I'd laugh it off, but underneath, the pressure was slowly building. Everything seemed perfect that evening. The restaurant was gorgeous, with soft jazz playing, candlelight flickering, and the Seattle skyline sparkling through floor-to-ceiling windows. David looked handsome in his navy suit, and Eleanor wore her signature pearl necklace, the one she donned for every important occasion. The waiter had just poured our wine, and everyone was smiling. It felt like the perfect moment to share my news. "I have something exciting to tell you both," I said, my heart racing with anticipation. I pulled out the promotion letter, my hands trembling just slightly. "I've been promoted to senior product manager." The words hung in the air like smoke. That's when I noticed it, the flash of anger in Eleanor's eyes, the tightness in David's smile. "Another promotion?" Trish's voice was sharp, cutting through the noise of the restaurant. "I thought you were finally going to tell us you're expecting." She put her wine glass down with too much force. "David needs a wife, not a competitor." I looked at David, waiting for him to defend me, to celebrate my achievement like he always had before. But he just sat there, jaw clenched, staring at his plate. The silence between us felt like a cavern, filled with years of unspoken expectations and growing resentment. "I thought you'd be happy for me," I said softly, my voice barely audible. "This doesn't change our plans for a family. It means you're choosing your career over my son, over our family," Eleanor interrupted, her voice laced with disdain. "Over the grandchildren you're denying us. Is that what marriage means to you, Harper?" My chest tightened as I watched David's expression darken. The man I loved, my partner of 5 years, was transforming before my eyes. When he finally spoke, his voice was cold, distant, like a stranger. "Mom's right, Jess. We've talked about starting a family. This promotion, it's just another excuse to delay, another way to put your ambitions before us." He reached for his wine glass, his knuckles white with tension. "Before us!" I felt heat rising in my cheeks. "I thought we were a team. I thought you supported my dreams too." My voice cracked slightly, but I held my ground. "This promotion means we'll be more financially secure when we do start a family. I don't understand why." What happened next plays in slow motion in my memories. David's chair scraped against the floor as he stood up, the flash of his hand, the sharp crack of the slap, the shocked gasps from nearby diners. My body hit the floor, my cheek burning, my perfect world shattering like fine china. But what happened after that? That's the story that needs to be told. Because sometimes hitting rock bottom is exactly what you need to finally spread your wings and soar. I lay there on the restaurant floor, my mind struggling to process what had just happened. The cold marble against my cheek, the ringing in my ears, the deafening silence that had fallen over the restaurant. It all felt surreal, like a nightmare I couldn't wake up from. But this was real, too real. Through my tears, I could see other diners frozen mid-bite, their faces a mix of horror and pity. A young waitress rushed forward with a glass of water, her hands shaking almost as much as mine. And Eleanor? She just sat there, adjusting her pearl necklace as if her son hadn't just assaulted me in public. "Ma'am, should we call the police?" The restaurant manager's voice seemed to come from far away. I pushed myself up from the floor, my designer dress, the one I'd chosen so carefully for this special night, now crumpled and stained. My face burned not just from the slap, but from the humiliation. "Harper, you're being dramatic. Sit down and let's discuss this like adults," Eleanor hissed, reaching for my arm. I jerked away from her touch as if it would burn me. David stood there, his face a storm of emotions. Anger, shock, and something else. Was it guilt? I didn't stay to find out. "Don't follow me," I managed to say, my voice stronger than I felt. Grabbing my purse, I walked out of that restaurant with whatever dignity I had left. The valet took one look at my tear-stained face and rushed to get my car without the ticket. The drive home was a blur. Seattle's rainy streets reflected the neon signs like watercolors, matching the chaos in my mind. I called my best friend, Chloe, on the car's Bluetooth. "Ra, can you come over? I need you." My voice cracked, but I managed to explain what happened. "Don't move. I'm on my way with ice cream and wine," she said, no questions asked. This is what real support sounds like, I thought bitterly. Back at the apartment, or should I say, his apartment now, I began throwing things into a suitcase. Designer clothes we had bought together, photos from better times, the laptop with all my work files. My hands moved mechanically while my mind raced. 3 years of marriage, 5 years together, all shattered by a slap that seemed to reverberate through every fiber of my being. Chloe arrived just as I was finishing packing. One look at my face, now bearing an angry red mark from David's hand, and she pulled me into a tight hug. "You're staying with me," she said firmly, no hesitation in her voice. "I should have said something months ago when he started controlling your work hours." As we drove to her place, my phone buzzed constantly. Messages from David flooded in. "Baby, I'm so sorry. Please come home. We can work things out. You know how my mom gets. I was just stressed. Don't throw away our marriage." Each message made me feel sick. This wasn't love. It was manipulation. For a moment, I second-guessed myself. Maybe I'd misread the situation. But that night, curled up on Chloe's couch with a bag of frozen peas on my cheek, something shifted. I wasn't going to become another statistic, another woman who stayed silent. I was a senior product manager, a leader who ran million-dollar projects. I could handle this too. The next morning, I walked into the office, head held high, my bruise concealed beneath makeup. I went straight to HR. "I need to document something," I said, my voice steady. "And I need to make sure my husband can't access this building." Evelyn, the HR director, listened without judgment, took photos of my face, and immediately set up new security protocols. "We've got your back, Harper," she said, sliding a list of resources across the desk: lawyers, counselors, support groups. "And congratulations on your promotion. You earned it." I hadn't cried since leaving the restaurant, but her simple acknowledgement of my achievement, the one I had worked so hard for, broke something inside me. These weren't tears of sadness or fear. They were tears of strength, tears of resolve. That evening, I opened my laptop and started a new document, my freedom plan. First, separate bank account. Second, restraining order. Third, find an apartment. Fourth, therapy. The list grew as my confidence returned. David's messages had shifted from apologies to threats. "You're ruining our family. Think about what people will say. Your career won't keep you warm at night. Each message only strengthened my determination. I stood in Chloe's bathroom, gently touching the bruise now turning purple. You are not a victim, I whispered to my reflection. You are a survivor, and this is just the beginning. Little did I know I was right. Sometimes life has a way of turning your worst moments into opportunities. And mine, it was just around the corner, waiting to turn my pain into purpose. They say success is the best revenge, but I wasn't after revenge. I wanted something far more powerful. I wanted to thrive. The next few weeks were a blur of action and change, each step moving me further from that devastating night and closer to the woman I was always meant to be. My first power move? Walking into a major product launch meeting, holding my head high. 50 pairs of eyes were on me as I presented our new strategy. Not one of them saw a victim. They saw a leader. My voice didn't shake once as I outlined our roadmap. The bruise had faded, but my determination only grew stronger. Outstanding presentation, Harper, my CEO said afterward, pulling me aside. I heard about your situation. Just know that we're doubling down on our faith in you. We'd like you to lead our Women in Tech initiative. I almost dropped my laptop. This was exactly the kind of opportunity I'd always dreamed of but had been too afraid to pursue. Funny how losing everything makes you fearless. My temporary stay at Chloe's turned into apartment hunting. I found a small but bright studio overlooking the city. It wasn't much, but it was mine. The first night there, I sat on my new IKEA couch, which I assembled myself, thank you very much, eating takeout Chinese food when my phone buzzed. It was a message from a junior product manager. Your presentation today changed my life. I'm also in an abusive relationship and seeing you stand there so strong. Can we talk? That message hit me like a ton of bricks. I wasn't just changing my life, I could help change others. The next day, I started a private Slack channel called Tech Women Rising. Within a week, we had 30 members. Within a month, over 100. Meanwhile, the divorce proceedings began. David's attempts to manipulate me through mutual friends and family backfired as I stood my ground. You don't understand, he told our mediator. She's throwing away everything for her career. I smiled politely and let my lawyer do the talking. But the real transformation wasn't happening in conference rooms or courtrooms. It was happening within me. Every Monday and Wednesday, I took self-defense classes. Every Thursday, I met with my therapist, Dr. Chen. You're not just surviving, she told me. You're revolutionizing your life. The Women in Tech initiative took off like a rocket. We organized monthly workshops, bringing in speakers who shared stories of resilience and success. I found myself sharing my story too, first with small groups, then at larger events. Success isn't about having a perfect life, I told a crowd at our first major conference. It's about having the courage to rebuild when life falls apart. The standing ovation wasn't for my words. It was for every woman who'd ever had to choose between her dreams and someone else's expectations. My apartment slowly became a home. I painted one wall deep blue, something David would have hated. I bought plants and learned to keep them alive. Started cooking for myself instead of waiting for Eleanor's passive-aggressive casseroles. Small victories, but they felt massive. 6 months after that fateful dinner, I was asked to give a keynote speech at the Seattle Tech Summit. As I walked onto that stage wearing a new blue dress, yes, blue, I was reclaiming everything. I saw Eleanor in the audience. She'd probably expected to see me broken. Instead, she saw me soaring. 3 months ago, I was knocked down, I began, looking directly at her. But being on the ground showed me something important. The only way forward was up. And up is exactly where I decided to go. The response was overwhelming. Women lined up afterward to share their stories, thank me, to join our growing community. That's when I realized this wasn't just about my healing anymore. It had become a movement. But the biggest surprise was still to come. As I was leaving the summit, a woman approached me, tall, confident, with kind eyes. I'm Linda Chen from Microsoft's Global Innovation Team, she said. We need someone like you, someone who not only builds products but builds people up. Would you be interested in joining us? Standing there, resume requests in one hand and speaking invitations in the other, I thought about that night on the restaurant floor, how I'd felt so small, so powerless. If only I could go back and tell that version of me, "Hold on, girl. Your life is about to become bigger than you ever imagined, because sometimes rock bottom isn't an ending, it's a launch pad." 1 year later, I'm standing in my corner office at Microsoft, looking out at the Seattle skyline, the same skyline I saw through my tears that night. But now it represents something different: possibility, strength, and most importantly, freedom. The ring David on my finger has long faded, replaced by a beautiful bracelet I bought myself to celebrate my first major product launch at Microsoft. It's inscribed with the words, "Rock bottom was the foundation." Every time I look at it, I'm reminded of how far I've come. Yesterday, I ran into David at a local coffee shop. A year ago, just the thought of seeing him would have sent me spiraling into panic. But this time I felt nothing. No fear, no anger, just calm indifference. He seemed small, almost insignificant. Nothing like the man who had once loomed over me in that restaurant. I ordered my latte, offered a polite smile, and walked out. That, I realized, is what true healing looks like. Since then, I've channeled my energy into something meaningful. Our Tech Women Rising community has blossomed to over 5,000 members nationwide. We've helped countless women escape abusive relationships, find new careers, and rebuild their lives. Every Tuesday evening, I mentor 3 women who are at the beginning of their own journeys. When they ask me how I did it, I tell them the truth. One brave decision at a time. The work I do with Microsoft's global innovation team is no longer just a job. It's my platform for change. Together, we've implemented new workplace safety protocols, established support networks for employees in crisis, and launched a scholarship program for survivors of domestic violence looking to pursue careers in tech. Last month, I gave a TED Talk titled, "From Floor to Flight: How Rock Bottom Built My Wings." As I stepped onto that iconic red circle wearing a power suit that made me feel unstoppable, I saw Eleanor in the audience. But this time, I wasn't anxious. I wasn't angry. I was filled with gratitude. "Thank you," I said into the microphone, looking directly at her. "To everyone who tried to clip my wings. You taught me how to build stronger ones." The standing ovation lasted 5 minutes, but the real victory wasn't the applause. It was the flood of messages that came afterward. "You gave me the courage to leave. I start my new job tomorrow. I finally filed for divorce. I chose me." Now in my new apartment, there's a wall full of photos, not of a perfect marriage, but of real moments of joy. There's one from the summit of Mount Rainier. Yes, I'm a hiker now. Another from a conference where I spoke on a stage. There's a picture of me laughing with my support group, and one with Chloe, who stood by me through it all. These pictures don't capture what I lost, but what I found: myself. Last week, a young product manager asked if I regretted that night at the restaurant. I paused before answering. "I regret that anyone has to experience violence," I said, "but I don't regret what came after. Sometimes the worst moments of our lives become our greatest teachers." So here I am, sharing my story not because I want sympathy, but because I want you to understand something crucial. That moment when you're on the floor, whether literally or figuratively, is not the end of your story. It might just be the beginning. If you're watching this from your own rock bottom feeling scared, hurt, or trapped, I want you to know something. You are stronger than you think. Your dreams matter. Your safety matters. You matter. Remember, success isn't about never falling. It's about how you rise, what you build, and who you lift along the way. My name is Harper, and this is not a story about being knocked down. It's a story about soaring. And in case you're wondering what happened to the blue dress from that anniversary night, I donated it, along with a business suit, to a women's shelter. Because sometimes another woman needs to be reminded that she too can rise from the floor and touch the sky. Sometimes everything is made of darkness, but everything can be dark. This is not the end of my story. It's just the beginning. Because every time another woman stands up, speaks out, and reclaims her power, our collective story grows stronger. What happens when the life you've built shatters in an instant and you're left with nothing but the strength to rise again? Harper's world crumbled when her husband, David, slapped her in a crowded restaurant, marking the end of what she thought was a perfect marriage. A promotion she had worked so hard for became the tipping point in a life she no longer recognized. Her dream of a family, her career aspirations, and her personal values all collided, leading her to a moment where she had no choice but to walk away from everything that was suffocating her. This slap wasn't just an act of violence. It was the catalyst that launched Harper into a new reality, one where she no longer sought approval or lived for anyone else but herself. What followed was nothing short of a transformation. With Chloe's unwavering support, Harper found the courage to file for a restraining order, start a new life, and reclaim her power. She was no longer the woman who had been pushed into silence. She became the leader she was always meant to be, standing tall in her career and in her personal life. Harper's journey from rock bottom to personal and professional triumph wasn't just about surviving. It was about thriving. Looking back, Harper sees that the slap in the restaurant was not her defeat, it was her wake-up call. The real victory was in how she rebuilt her life, helping other women along the way. Now, she's not just thriving in her career as a senior product manager, but she's leading a community of women empowering each other. Harper's journey proves that sometimes the worst moments are the ones that help you soar. What would you do if you found yourself in Harper's shoes? How would you rebuild when everything seems lost? Share your thoughts in the comments below, and don't forget to like and subscribe for more inspiring stories.
The crystal champagne flute trembles in my hand as I watch my sister glide down the aisle, her wedding dress worth more than my annual salary. My presence here is a mistake. I know at the moment I catch Mother's glacial stare from the front row. Eden. That's me, the uninvited sister, the family disappointment who dared to show up at Brooke's perfect society wedding. I sink deeper into my seat at the back of the grand ballroom, praying the elaborate flower arrangements will shield me from more hostile glances. Can you believe she had the nerve to come? A stage whisper carries from 2 rows ahead. After what happened with the clinic, I grip Ryan's hand beside me. My husband squeezes back, his silent support the only thing keeping me from fleeing. Our 7-year-old daughter Lily fidgets in her Sunday best, oblivious to the tension crackling through the air like static before a storm. The string quartet transitions to the wedding march. Brooke reaches the altar where her fiancé Daniel waits, both of them picture perfect. Father beams as he gives her away, his pride radiating across the room. The same father who told me 10 years ago that I was dead to him. If anyone objects to this union, speak now or forever hold your peace. The words barely leave the officiant's lips when Mother stands, her designer heels clicking against marble as she turns to face the crowd. Her gaze locks onto mine. I apologize, everyone, but we have an uninvited guest who needs to leave. Her voice carries clearly through the hushed room. Eden, you were explicitly told you are not welcome at family events. This is a private ceremony. 200 faces swivel toward me. Lily shrinks against my side. Mommy, why is Grandma mad? Brooke's perfectly painted lips curve into a smirk. Security, please escort my former sister out. She's trying to ruin my special day as usual. Former sister? Lily's small voice cracks. But Aunt Brooke, I'm not your aunt, dear. Brooke's words slice through the air. Your mother lost the right to call herself family years ago when she betrayed us all. 2 security guards materialize beside our row. Ryan stands, positioning himself between them and me. We're leaving. No need for force. How dare you bring a child into this mess, Eden? Mother's voice drips with venom. Trying to manipulate us with an innocent girl. You haven't changed at all. My cheeks burn as we shuffle past bewildered guests. Lily's hand trembles in mine. The whispers follow us like poison darts. Always was the troubled one. Such a shame what she did to her poor parents. That poor child, having her for a mother. At the ballroom doors, I pause and turn. Brooke stands triumphant at the altar, father and mother flanking her like proud sentries. The perfect family tableau, minus the black sheep daughter they erased. Congratulations, Brooke. My voice carries clearly across the silence. I hope your marriage is built on more honest foundations than the rest of your life. Her smile falters for just a moment. Good. Let her wonder what I know. In the lobby, Lily bursts into tears. Why don't they love us, Mommy? I gather her close, meeting Ryan's worried gaze over her head. He knows what this means. The careful peace I've maintained for years has shattered. They forced my hand by humiliating me in front of my daughter. Some people, sweetheart, aren't capable of real love. I stroke her hair, my resolve hardening with each sob. But that's about to change. 10 years I've stayed away, swallowing their lies. 10 years of watching Brooke build her perfect life on stolen dreams and buried secrets. But seeing my daughter cry, that's the final straw. They want to talk about betrayal? Fine. Time to show them what real betrayal looks like. I've got nothing left to lose and everything to prove. Game on, dear sister, game on. The drive home from Brooke's wedding feels endless. Lily's fallen asleep in the back seat, tear tracks still visible on her cheeks. Ryan's knuckles are white on the steering wheel, and the silence between us stretches like a rubber band about to snap. You shouldn't have gone, he finally says, voice low to avoid waking Lily. We talked about this. I trace the edge of my phone screen, where dozens of social media notifications flash about the incident. They made my daughter cry, Ryan. Our daughter. And whose fault is that? You knew exactly what would happen. He takes the exit toward our neighborhood, his jaw tight. You wanted it to happen. The accusation hits harder than I expect. Maybe because there's truth in it. Pull over. Eden. Pull over, now. He guides the car into an empty parking lot. I step out, needing air that isn't thick with unspoken words. The night air is cool against my flushed skin as I pace between faded parking lines. Ryan follows, leaving the car running for Lily. Talk to me, what's really going on? Did you see her face? The way she looked at me? My laugh sounds brittle. Perfect Brooke with her perfect lies. You know what she told everyone about why I was disowned? You never wanted to discuss it before. She told them I stole from the clinic, embezzled money meant for patient care. The words taste like acid. Meanwhile, she's working there now, right alongside father, probably. I stop myself, remembering Ryan doesn't know everything, not yet. He steps closer, concern etched in his features. Probably what? My phone buzzes. A text from an unknown number. I know what really happened 10 years ago. Meet me tomorrow, 2 p.m. Carson Street Coffee. Eden. Ryan's hand on my shoulder makes me jump. What aren't you telling me? I show him the text. His expression darkens. Could be a trap. Your family might not be my family. I turn back toward the car. Someone at the clinic knows something. Someone who was there when everything fell apart. And you're just going to meet this mysterious person? After what happened today? He catches my arm. Think about Lily. About us. I am thinking about us. I pull away gently. That's why I need to do this. They humiliated our daughter, Ryan. Made her question everything about who she is, who I am. So this is about revenge? This is about truth. I watch Lily sleeping through the car window, peaceful despite everything. Brooke built her whole life on lies. The clinic, her marriage to Daniel, her reputation, all of it constructed on the ruins of what she took from me. Ryan runs a hand through his hair, a gesture I recognize from a decade of marriage. He's worried, but he's listening. What exactly are you planning? Nothing yet, but if someone's finally willing to talk. I meet his gaze steadily. I need to know if you're with me. Really with me, not just standing on the sidelines while I fight this battle alone. He's quiet for a long moment, studying me. You're different tonight. There's something in your eyes I haven't seen before. Maybe because I finally see things clearly. I step closer, taking his hands. Remember when we first met? You said I was carrying too many ghosts. You were right, but they weren't ghosts, Ryan. They were monsters wearing my family's faces, and I let them haunt me for too long. A car passes, its headlights sweeping across us. In that brief illumination, I see understanding dawn in Ryan's expression. He pulls me into a tight embrace. "I'm with you," he whispers against my hair. "But we do this smart. We do this right. No more improvised confrontations." Agreed. I breathe in his familiar scent, drawing strength from his solid presence. "Tomorrow at the coffee shop, come with me? Watch from a distance. Make sure it's not a setup." "Of course," he pulls back, cupping my face. "But Eden, promise me something. Whatever we learn, whatever happens, we protect Lily first. Always." "Always," I agree, even as part of me whispers that protection sometimes means fighting back. Sometimes means burning everything down to build something better from the ashes. In the car, Lily stirs slightly, murmuring in her sleep. Looking at her, I feel my resolve harden like steel. Brooke and my parents thought they could shame me into disappearing again. Instead, they've given me exactly what I needed, a reason to stop running and start fighting back. Tomorrow, I'll meet my mysterious messenger. Tomorrow, I'll start gathering the matches needed to set this whole facade ablaze. But tonight, I'll hold my daughter and remember why the truth matters more than any comfortable lie. Carson Street Coffee buzzes with afternoon regulars when I spot her. Sarah Chen, our family clinic's former accountant, hunched over a laptop in the corner. Ryan catches my eye from his position at the counter, a silent confirmation that he's watching. I slide into the seat across from Sarah. Her fingers tremble slightly as she closes her laptop. "I wasn't sure you'd come." 10 years is a long time to stay quiet. I keep my voice neutral, though my pulse races. "Why now?" She glances around nervously. "Your sister's wedding was all over social media. When I saw what they did to you..." She pulls out a USB drive. "There's something you need to see." The drive feels impossibly heavy in my palm. What's on it? "Financial records. From before you left." Sarah leans forward, lowering her voice. "Your father didn't just frame you for embezzlement, Eden. He actively covered up Brooke's mistakes. Massive ones." My coffee arrives. Ryan's subtle way of staying close. Sarah flinches at his approach. "The patient death in 2013, she continues once he's gone. "Remember? How could I forget? A terminal cancer patient died after receiving experimental treatment. The investigation cleared the clinic, but what about it? Brooke administered the wrong dosage. She wasn't qualified, hadn't even completed her medical training. Your father buried it, paid off the family." Sarah's words hit like physical blows. "He used the money he accused you of stealing." The coffee cup rattles against the saucer as I set it down. "You have proof. Everything's on that drive, including evidence that Brooke never finished medical school. The credentials she's using at the clinic, all falsified." My throat tightens. "Why didn't you come forward back then?" "Your father threatened my family. My daughter was sick. I needed the insurance." Shame colors her face. "But she's grown now, and I saw what happened at the wedding, the way they're still hurting you." My phone buzzes. A text from Brooke. "Having coffee with anyone interesting?" I look up sharply. Through the window, I catch a glimpse of Daniel's car pulling away. "They're watching me," Sarah realizes, panic edging into her voice. "I shouldn't have. It's okay." I stand, offering her my arm. "Let my husband drive you home." Ryan appears instantly, reading the situation. As he escorts Sarah out, I text Brooke back. "Just catching up with old friends. How's married life?" Her response is immediate. "Stay away from Sarah Chen. Some stories should stay buried." I pocket the USB drive, my mind racing. Another text arrives, from father this time. "My office, 1 hour. Come alone or Sarah loses everything." The threat is clear, but something's different now. The trembling in my hands isn't fear, it's anticipation. At the clinic, father's secretary tries to stop me. I brush past her, pushing into his office where he and Brooke wait. "That was quick," Brooke says, but her usual smugness wavers. "Enough games." I face father across his desk. "You want to threaten Sarah? Go ahead. But first, explain something. How many other patients did Brooke kill?" The color drains from his face. Brooke steps forward. You don't know what you're talking about. 2013, terminal cancer patient, wrong dosage. I watch their reactions. Ring any bells? You've clearly lost your mind, father starts, but I cut him off. Funny thing about buried secrets. Someone always keeps receipts. I pull out my phone, playing the recording of my conversation with Sarah. Wonder what the medical board would think. Brooke lunges for my phone. I sidestep easily, watching her facade crack. You're bluffing. Try me. I meet father's gaze. You destroyed my life to protect her, framed me for theft, erased me from the family, all to cover up her mistakes. I did what was necessary. His voice is ice. Brooke had potential. You were always difficult. Difficult? I laugh, the sound sharp enough to make them both flinch. I was the only one telling the truth. And now I have proof. What do you want? Brooke demands. I move toward the door, pausing with my hand on the handle. Want? I want you both to know what's coming. Every lie, every cover-up, every patient you've put at risk. It all comes out. And this time? I smile, feeling decades of pain crystallize into purpose. This time, I'm not the one who'll disappear. Their protests follow me out, but I don't look back. In my pocket, the USB drive holds enough truth to burn their perfect world to ash. Let them try to stop me. I'm not that scared little girl anymore. I'm the one they should fear. The USB drive's contents spill across my laptop screen. Financial records, falsified credentials, patient records. Each document adds another brick to the wall of evidence against my family. But it's an email thread between mother and father that makes my hands shake. You need to see this. I turn the screen toward Ryan, who's been pacing our home office. He leans in, scanning the text. His jaw tightens. They knew about the other patients. 3 more deaths, all covered up. My voice sounds distant to my own ears. All blamed on equipment malfunctions or natural causes. The doorbell rings. Through the window, I glimpse Daniel's expensive car in our driveway. Ryan moves toward the door, but I catch his arm. Let me handle this. Daniel looks nothing like the confident man from Brooke's wedding. His tie is loose, dark circles under his eyes. We need to talk, Eden. I lead him to the kitchen, deliberately choosing not to offer him anything. He fidgets with his wedding ring. Brooke told me what you have. He glances toward my laptop. Whatever they're offering you. They? Who's offering me what? The medical board investigators. He runs a hand through disheveled hair. They approached me yesterday, asked about inconsistencies in Brooke's credentials. My pulse quickens, but I keep my expression neutral. I haven't spoken to any investigators. Don't lie to me. His voice cracks. I know what she did. What they all did. I've been reviewing the clinic's records since the wedding. And I can't. He swallows hard. I have evidence too. Things even you don't know about. But if this gets out, it won't just destroy Brooke and your parents. There are other people involved. Good people who are just following orders. My phone buzzes. A text from an unknown number. Your daughter's school just received an anonymous tip about possible abuse in your home. CPS has been notified. The room tilts slightly. Daniel notices my reaction. They're desperate, he says quietly. They'll do anything to keep this quiet. They're threatening my daughter. The words come out like ice shards. Let me help you. Daniel leans forward. I can get you money. Enough to disappear. Start fresh somewhere else. Just hand over the evidence. Ryan appears in the doorway, his presence steady. I think you should leave. You don't understand. Daniel stands. They won't stop. Mark's already called in favors with local authorities. They'll fabricate evidence against you, Eden. They'll take Lily. Get out. My voice doesn't shake. Tell my sister and my parents they just made their biggest mistake. After he leaves, Ryan holds me as I shake, not with fear, but with rage. We need to move fast, he says. If they're involving Lily, no. I pull away, my mind crystallizing around a new plan. We're not running. Call your sister at the newspaper. It's time everyone knew exactly who the Millers really are. Eden, they want to play dirty, fine. I grab my phone, dialing Sarah's number, but they forgot something important. What's that? I learned from the best. I meet his worried gaze. They taught me how to destroy someone's life. Now they get to see how well I paid attention. Sarah answers on the first ring. Eden, they're here. Police with a warrant. Upload everything. Now, every file, every record, every piece of evidence. Send it to the email I gave you. But, trust me. I hang up, turning to Ryan. Call the school, get Lily, then call every reporter your sister knows. In an hour, the Miller family clinic is going to become breaking news. This is it, then. Ryan studies my face. No turning back. I think of Lily, innocent and precious, now a target in their desperate game. Of Sarah, probably being arrested right now. Of every patient who died because of Brooke's lies and my parents' cover-ups. They chose this path. I start typing, preparing the email that will detonate my family's carefully constructed world. I'm just making sure they walk it all the way to the end. As I hit send, watching hundreds of damning documents wing their way to dozens of news outlets, I feel something shift inside me. The scared daughter seeking approval dies. In her place rises someone stronger, someone forged in betrayal and tempered by righteous fury. Let them come for me. I'm ready. The headlines explode across every local news outlet by morning. Miller Family Clinic under investigation. Multiple deaths linked to fraudulent doctor. Prominent family faces criminal charges. I watch the clinic's parking lot from my car, counting the reporters swarming like hungry sharks. Mother emerges first, perfectly composed until camera flashes blind her. She stumbles, mask slipping for just a moment. My phone hasn't stopped buzzing. Missed calls from unknown numbers, text messages ranging from threats to desperate pleas. I ignore them all, waiting. Finally, Brooke appears, Daniel trailing behind her. Even from this distance, I can see she's been crying. Good. A tap on my window makes me jump. Ryan stands outside, expression grim. I roll down the window. The medical board just arrived, he says, and Eden, Sarah's dead. The world stops. What? Car accident last night. They're calling it a suicide. My hands grip the steering wheel until my knuckles turn white. When? Right after the police left her house. Ryan's voice drops. Eden, there's more. The evidence she uploaded, most of it's corrupted. They got to the servers somehow. A bitter laugh escapes me. Of course they did. We should go home. This isn't safe. Mrs. Miller. A reporter spots me, and suddenly they're all running toward my car. I start the engine, but not before catching Brooke's expression as she realizes I'm here. For a moment, our eyes meet across the parking lot. She mouths something, not a threat or a plea, just two words. I'm sorry. The drive home is silent. Ryan keeps glancing at me, waiting for the breakdown that won't come. Sarah's death should devastate me, should make me question everything. Instead, it hardens something inside me. We find Mother sitting in our living room. How did you get in? Ryan demands, moving protectively in front of me. I raised her. Mother's voice is eerily calm. I still have her spare key from when she was young. Get out, I say, but she raises her hand, revealing a familiar USB drive. Looking for this? She sets it on the coffee table. Your father says hello, by the way. He's meeting with the board right now, explaining how his troubled daughter fabricated evidence to destroy her sister out of jealousy. Sarah's dead. Yes. She doesn't even flinch. Tragic. Depression is a terrible thing. You killed her. Prove it. She stands, smoothing her expensive skirt. Like you'll need to prove all your other accusations, now that the evidence is gone. Your father's lawyers are very good at their jobs. Ryan steps forward, but I catch his arm. Let her talk. We're willing to be generous, Eden. Mother's smile doesn't reach her eyes. Leave town. Take your family somewhere far away. We'll provide enough money to start fresh. Or stay and watch everything you love burn. She moves toward the door. Lily's such a sweet child. It would be awful if Child Protective Services found evidence of abuse, or if Ryan's newspaper suddenly discovered financial irregularities in his records. You're threatening a child? Ryan's voice shakes with rage. Your own granddaughter? I'm protecting my family. Mother pauses at the door. You have 24 hours to decide. Choose wisely. After she leaves, Ryan holds me as I shake, not with fear or grief, but with a cold fury that threatens to consume me. We can't let them win, he whispers. We won't. I pull away, moving to my laptop. Sarah may be gone, but she wasn't the only one with evidence. Eden. They killed her, Ryan. They'll destroy us if we run. My fingers fly across the keyboard, accessing encrypted files I've been gathering for weeks. But they forgot something important about cornered animals. What's that? I turn the screen toward him, showing dozens of audio recordings, surveillance photos, and backed-up documents. A parallel investigation I've been running alongside Sarah's. They fight hardest when they have nothing left to lose. I start composing emails to every major news outlet in the country. Mother wants to play games with my daughter's safety. Fine. Let's see how she likes it when the whole world knows exactly what kind of monster she really is. This could backfire spectacularly, Ryan warns. Probably. I hit send, watching the emails disappear into cyberspace. But I'm done playing by their rules. The first national news alert pings on my phone minutes later. The war has begun, and this time, I'm not fighting to expose the truth. I'm fighting to destroy them completely. The police arrive at 3 a.m. I watch from our bedroom window as they lead Ryan away in handcuffs, their accusations echoing in the quiet street. Fraud, embezzlement, conspiracy. All fabricated, all perfectly crafted to destroy him. Lily sleeps through it, thank God. I stand in her doorway afterward, watching her peaceful breathing, knowing I caused this. My phone vibrates. Father's number. Satisfied. His voice carries decades of practiced authority. This is just the beginning, Eden. Walk away now, or tomorrow it's your daughter's school calling with concerns about her home life. I end the call without speaking. My hands shake as I pack Lily's overnight bag. Clothes, her favorite stuffed animal, the photo album she loves. Ryan's sister Claire arrives within the hour. It's just for a few days, I tell Lily when she wakes, confused and frightened, like a vacation with Aunt Claire. But what about Daddy? What about you? I hold her tight, breathing in her familiar scent. We'll fix everything, I promise. After they leave, the house feels like a tomb. I pour myself a drink, but before I can take a sip, someone pounds on the front door. Brooke stands on my porch, mascara streaked down her face. They're going to kill you. What? She pushes past me, frantically checking windows and doors. I heard them talking. Father hired someone. They're making it look like a break-in gone wrong. Why are you telling me this? Because Sarah was my friend too. Her voice cracks. And I can't have another death on my conscience. I study my sister, really look at her for the first time in years. The perfect facade has crumbled, revealing someone as broken as I am. Daniel left me, she continues. The medical board revoked my license. Everything's falling apart and they don't even care. They're just worried about protecting themselves. Like they always have been. She grabs my arm. You need to run. Now. Take what you can and... Headlights sweep across the windows. Brooke freezes. They're here. Get out the back, I tell her, already moving toward my laptop. I need 2 minutes. Eden, go. As she slips away, I quickly upload everything I have to multiple secure servers. The front door splinters under heavy boots just as I hit send. 2 men enter, faces obscured. Professional, clinical. I recognize the look, the same cold efficiency Father always praised in his business dealings. Mrs. Collins. The taller one approaches slowly. This can be easy or hard, your choice. I back away, buying seconds as the files upload. My father sent his regards. The Millers send their condolences about your tragic accident. A noise from the kitchen makes them turn. Brooke stands there, phone raised. I'm live streaming. Everything. The men hesitate. In that moment, I lunge for the front door, but the shorter one catches me. Pain explodes across my face as he strikes me. Through blurred vision, I see Brooke tackle him. Run! I stumble into the street, blood in my mouth, ears ringing. Behind me, glass shatters. A scream, Brooke's or mine, I'm not sure. Neighbors' lights flick on. A car starts somewhere. The men emerge from my house, walking unhurried to their vehicle, professional to the end. I find Brooke unconscious in my kitchen, her phone crushed nearby, but she's breathing, and as sirens wail in the distance, she stirs. Did you get it? She mumbles. The evidence? Yes. I help her sit up, noting the bruises already forming. Why did you come back? Because I remember. She touches her split lip gingerly. Before they turned us against each other. I remember when you were my big sister and I miss that person. The sirens grow closer. Soon there will be questions, statements, more lies from our parents. Ryan's still in jail. Lily's away. Everything I've built lies in ruins around me. But Brooke's words echo in my head. Big sister. Something shifts inside me. Not forgiveness, not yet, but understanding. We were both victims of our parents' manipulation, turned against each other for their benefit. We have to end this, I say, as red and blue lights paint my kitchen walls. Not just expose them, destroy them completely. Brooke meets my gaze, and for the first time in decades, I see my sister instead of my enemy. Together, I take her hand, feeling the weight of all our shared scars and separate wounds. Together. The police arrive to find us like that, bloodied but unbowed, finally united against the real monsters in our story. Let our parents think they've won. Their perfect family fantasy is about to become their worst nightmare. The Miller Family Clinic's annual charity gala becomes our battlefield. Brooke and I move through the crowd separately, watching our parents work the room like nothing's wrong, like they didn't try to have me killed last week. Mrs. Collins, a board member, catches my arm. Surprised to see you here, given the circumstances. I smile, channeling Mother's perfect social mask. I wouldn't miss it. Across the room, Father takes the podium. Welcome, everyone. Tonight we celebrate 30 years of serving our community. Brooke signals from near the AV booth. Everything's ready. I check my phone. Ryan's lawyer confirms the charges are dropped, the real evidence of financial manipulation traced back to Father's accounts. And now, Father continues, I'd like to share a video highlighting our clinic's achievements. The lights dim. But instead of the planned presentation, security footage fills the screen. Father in his office, counting cash, Mother threatening Sarah, patient records being altered, each clip dated, documented, damning. Gasps ripple through the crowd. Father fumbles with the microphone, but his voice is drowned out by the audio of him ordering the hit on me. Turn it off, Mother shrieks, but Brooke holds the door to the AV booth closed. Why? I step forward, my voice carrying across the stunned silence. Isn't this what we're celebrating? 30 years of fraud, corruption, and murder. Security, Father bellows, but the officers I hired stand firm. They work for me tonight. I move closer to the podium. Just like the private investigators who've been watching you, the forensic accountants tracking your bribes, the lawyers building cases for every family you've destroyed. Mother lunges for me, her carefully maintained composure shattering. You ungrateful... Careful, Mother. Brooke emerges from the crowd. The press is recording. Indeed, cameras flash as reporters, invited anonymously, capture every moment. You planned this together? Father's face contorts with rage. My own daughters. Your daughters, I laugh, the sound sharp as broken glass. You tried to kill me last week. You framed my husband. You threatened my child. Everything I did was to protect this family. He grabs my arm, fingers digging in painfully. Let her go. Brooke's voice carries steel. Or I tell them about Jason. Father freezes. What? The patient from 2011. Brooke meets his gaze steadily. The one whose death you blamed on equipment failure. Except it wasn't the equipment, was it? It was you, trying to cover up a mistake that would have cost you everything. You knew, Mother whispers. I found the real records. Brooke's hands shake slightly. The ones you kept to blackmail the manufacturer. That's when I realized you never protected me because you loved me. You did it because you needed someone under your control. Police officers enter the ballroom, real ones this time. Father sees them and shoves me aside, making a break for the exit. He doesn't make it 3 steps before Daniel, my unexpected ally, trips him. Father sprawls across the marble floor as handcuffs click into place. Mark Miller. The detective reads his rights while Mother screams and fights her own arrest. You're charged with conspiracy to commit murder, fraud. The list continues, but I'm not listening. I'm watching my parents' perfect world crumble, their masks finally shattered beyond repair. Brooke touches my arm. You okay? No. I watch Mother being led away, still shrieking about ungrateful children. But I will be. Eden, Father calls out as they reach the door. You'll regret this. Everything we built was built on lies. I meet his eyes one last time. Goodbye, Father. Later, as reporters swarm and police gather evidence, Brooke and I sit in the empty ballroom. What happens now? She asks. Ryan comes home. The clinic gets new management. Our parents face justice. I study my sister's profile, seeing both the girl she was and the woman she's becoming. And we learn who we are without their shadows over us. Together. I take her hand, feeling decades of manipulation and rivalry dissolve. But first, I need to go home to my daughter. We walk out of the clinic for the last time, leaving behind the wreckage of our parents' empire. Their perfect family fantasy lies in ruins, but something real and honest might grow from the ashes. Sometimes revenge isn't about destroying everything. Sometimes it's about clearing the ground so truth can finally take root. The courtroom empties slowly after the verdict. 25 years for father, 18 for mother. Justice served in cold, precise numbers. I remain seated watching them being led away, neither looking back at the daughters they destroyed and rebuilt. Brooke touches my shoulder. Ready? Almost. I gather my things, fingers brushing the locket Mother always wore. Now evidence of her crimes, the hidden compartment containing proof of bribes and threats. Outside, reporters wait with hungry cameras. Ryan shields Lily from their questions while Daniel handles the press statement. My daughter's small hand finds mine, anchoring me to what matters most. Aunt Brooke says we're moving to the clinic house, Lily says as we walk to the car. The big one with the garden? Yes. I exchange glances with my sister. The irony doesn't escape us. The family estate, purchased with tainted money, now transformed into a recovery center for victims of medical malpractice. But first, there's somewhere we need to go. We drive to Sarah's grave, where fresh flowers already rest against the headstone. A note from her daughter reads, "Justice for Mom." I keep thinking, Brooke says quietly, about all the moments we could have chosen differently, all the times we could have helped each other instead of becoming their weapons. I finish. She nods. Lily places her own flower, a dandelion picked from a crack in the sidewalk. Simple, pure, everything our childhood wasn't. Back home, I find Ryan in our study, reviewing patient files from the clinic. The board approved the restructuring, he says. We can start accepting new cases next month. And the trust fund? Set up for the victims' families. He pulls me close. You did it, Eden. You broke the cycle. But victory tastes different than I imagined. In my desk drawer, unopened, sits a letter from Mother, delivered by her lawyer after sentencing. Beside it, Father's signet ring, returned by the evidence clerk. What troubles you? Ryan asks, noticing my hesitation. I thought revenge would feel like winning. I sink into a chair. Instead, it feels like carrying their ghosts. A noise from the hallway draws our attention. Brooke stands there, Daniel behind her, both looking uncertain. The contractor found something in Father's office wall, Daniel says. Hidden compartment. You should see this. The manila envelope he hands me contains photographs, dozens of them. Me and Brooke as children, caught in rare moments of sisterly affection, playing in the garden, sharing secrets, laughing. He kept them, Brooke whispers. All this time he kept proof that we were once real, I finish, before they made us into their perfect lies. The last photo shows us at my 10th birthday, before everything changed, before competition and manipulation poisoned our bond. Two sisters, arms linked, facing the world together. Eden, Lily calls from downstairs. Aunt Brooke, the ice cream's melting. We share a look, my sister and I, understanding passing between us without words. We can't reclaim those innocent girls in the photographs, but maybe we can honor them by protecting the next generation from similar scars. Coming, sweetheart, I call back, tucking the photos away. Not hidden this time, but preserved. A reminder of what was lost and what might still be saved. In the kitchen, Lily orchestrates an elaborate ice cream sundae assembly line, directing Daniel with the serious authority of a 7-year-old dessert expert. Ryan documents the chaos on his phone, while Brooke, accidentally on purpose, gets chocolate sauce on her designer blouse. This is my victory, I realize. Not the courtroom triumph or the public vindication, but this, a family built on choice rather than obligation. Love freely given instead of weaponized. Mother's unopened letter can wait. Father's ring will gather dust. Their power over us died not with exposure or imprisonment, but in this moment, watching my daughter teach my sister how to make the perfect sundae, everyone laughing as whipped cream goes everywhere. Mom, Lily waves me over, you're missing everything. I join them, accepting the sticky spoon my daughter offers. The past will always echo, but its power fades with each genuine smile, each chosen connection, each moment we decide to be more than our scars. Sometimes the sweetest revenge is simply living well, surrounded by the love our parents never understood how to give.
I stare at the champagne flute in my hand, watching tiny bubbles rise to the surface like my mounting disgust. The annual Morrison Family Foundation Gala always brings out the worst in everyone, but tonight takes the prize for pure, unadulterated bullshit. My sister Lily stands at the podium, delivering her perfectly rehearsed speech about community service and family values. The pearls Mother gave her catch the light as she gestures, and I can't help but notice they're the ones I was supposed to inherit. Ruby, darling, do try to look more engaged, Mother whispers, her manicured nails digging into my arm. The Peterson family is watching. I resist the urge to dump my champagne down her designer dress. Instead, I plaster on the smile I've perfected over 28 years of being the family disappointment. Of course, Mother. The ballroom of the Grand Meridian Hotel sparkles with old money and new pretensions. My husband Ethan works the crowd like the social climber he is, laughing too loud at jokes that aren't funny. He catches my eye across the room and gives me that smile, the one that used to make my heart skip but now just makes my skin crawl. Something's off about him tonight. He keeps checking his phone, disappearing for stretches of time. I've seen this behavior before, just not from him. And none of this would be possible without our wonderful family, Lily concludes, her voice dripping honey. The crowd applauds, and I notice Ethan isn't at his table anymore. I excuse myself from Mother's clutches and head toward the service corridor. The click of my heels echoes against marble as I follow my instincts down the hallway. A woman's laugh, Lily's laugh, drifts from around the corner. We can't keep doing this, Ethan's voice, low and urgent. Ruby's starting to suspect something. Please, my sister wouldn't notice if you tattooed "I'm sleeping with Lily" on your forehead. She's too busy trying to prove she doesn't need our parents' approval. I freeze, my hand pressed against the cold wall for support. The champagne in my stomach turns to acid. That's not fair, Ethan says, but there's no real defense in his voice. Ruby loves you. Lily's laugh again, sharper this time. Ruby loves the idea of having a perfect sister, just like she loves the idea of having a perfect marriage. We both know neither is true. I step around the corner. They spring apart like guilty teenagers, but not fast enough to hide what I've seen. Lily's lipstick is smeared. Ethan's tie is loose. The pearls around my sister's neck mock me with their perfect shine. Ruby, Ethan starts, but I hold up my hand. How long? Lily smooths her dress, already composing her face into the innocent expression that's fooled our parents for years. It's not what you think. 8 months, Ethan cuts in. Since the Christmas party. The Christmas party. When Mother announced she was giving Lily the family pearls because she'd make better use of them. When Ethan held me as I cried later that night, telling me it didn't matter, that we'd make our own traditions. I look at my sister. Really look at her. Behind the perfect makeup and calculated charm, I see something new. Fear. She knows she's miscalculated. You know what's funny? I say, my voice steady despite the earthquake in my chest. I always thought you were the smart one, Lily. The favorite, the perfect daughter. But this? I gesture between them. This is sloppy. Ruby, please. Ethan reaches for me, but I step back. Don't worry. I won't make a scene. Not tonight. Mother would never forgive me for ruining her precious gala. I turn to leave, then pause. Oh, and Lily? Those pearls? They look fake. I walk away, their protests fading behind me. The ballroom buzzes with oblivious chatter as I return to my seat. Mother beams at me, probably thinking I've finally learned to behave. If she only knew. The daughter they've always underestimated is about to show them exactly what she's capable of. And it starts tonight. I raise my champagne glass and smile. Let them think it's a toast to family values. 3 days after the gala, I sit across from Daniel at Cafe Luna, watching him process what I've just told him. His coffee grows cold, untouched, while I've already shredded my napkin into confetti. So your sister and Ethan, he says finally, running a hand through his dark hair. Since Christmas. 8 months of lies. I drop another piece of napkin. 8 months of family dinners, charity events, weekend brunches, all while they were... My voice cracks, and I hate myself for it. Daniel reaches across the table, his hand covering mine. Have you told your parents? A bitter laugh escapes me. Mother's response was to suggest I try harder to keep my husband interested. Father hasn't even returned my calls. Jesus, Ruby. The cafe door chimes, and I tense as Lily walks in. Of course she'd come here. It's her favorite spot to be seen by the right people. She freezes when she spots us, then squares her shoulders and approaches our table. Ruby, she says, her voice honey-sweet. We need to talk about this like adults. Daniel's hand tightens on mine. I don't think now's the time. I wasn't talking to you. Lily's mask slips for just a second, showing the steel underneath. This is family business. That's rich, I say, standing up. Since when did family mean anything to you beyond what you could take from it? You're being dramatic. She glances around, noticing the other patrons starting to stare. Mother and father are worried about you. They think you're not thinking clearly. Let me guess. They're worried about the foundation's reputation? About what people will say when they find out their perfect daughter has been sleeping with her sister's husband? Lily grabs my arm, her nails digging in. Keep your voice down. You're embarrassing yourself. I wrench away from her. No, I'm done being the quiet one. The understanding one. The one who steps aside so precious Lily can have everything she wants. You don't understand anything, she hisses. You never have. Everything's always been handed to you. The inheritance, the position at the foundation, Ethan... Handed to me? The laugh that comes out of me doesn't sound like my voice at all. Mother made me turn down Stanford because it wasn't appropriate. Father cut me off when I wanted to start my own business. And Ethan? He was your consolation prize to me, wasn't he? Something to keep me occupied while you played the perfect daughter? Daniel stands now, placing himself slightly between us. I think you should leave, Lily. She ignores him, her eyes locked on mine. Mother and father are willing to forgive this little outburst. They're prepared to be generous, set you up with a new apartment, maybe that marketing firm you've always wanted. The pieces click into place. They knew, I whisper. They knew about you and Ethan, didn't they? Lily's silence is answer enough. Get out. My voice is ice now. Get out before I tell everyone in this cafe exactly what kind of person you are. She leaves, but not before saying, "Don't do anything you'll regret, Ruby. Some bridges can't be rebuilt." I sink back into my chair, shaking. Daniel sits beside me now, his arm around my shoulders. "I could kill them all," I mutter. "Or," he says carefully, "if you could do something worse." I look at him. There's something in his expression I've never seen before. A calculated understanding that makes my breath catch. "The Foundation's annual audit is coming up," he continues, "and I happen to know some interesting things about their bookkeeping practices." "How would you know that?" He smiles, and it's not entirely kind. "Because before I met you, I worked for the firm that handles their accounts. I left because I saw things that didn't sit right." I stare at him, seeing him in a new light. "Why didn't you ever tell me?" "Waiting for the right moment, I suppose." He pulls out his phone, showing me a folder of documents. "Your family's perfect facade? It's built on sand. One push in the right direction." I think about Mother's dismissal, Father's silence, Lily's smug certainty that they can buy my compliance, 8 months of betrayal, and years before that of subtle cruelty disguised as love. "Show me everything," I say. Daniel's smile widens. "I thought you'd never ask." The Morrison Foundation's financial records spread across Daniel's dining room table like a roadmap to my family's hypocrisy. Each spreadsheet tells its own story of creative accounting and carefully hidden transactions. My hands shake as I trace the numbers, seeing years of manipulation laid bare in columns and rows. "Your father's been moving money through shell companies for years," Daniel says, highlighting another suspicious transfer. "The charitable donations aren't going where they're supposed to." My phone buzzes. Another message from Ethan. I silence it without looking. "Show me the worst of it." "This one." Daniel pulls out a document dated 3 months ago. $1 million transferred to an offshore account right after your sister's promotion to executive director. The irony makes me laugh. The position I was too inexperienced for. A knock at the door makes us both freeze. Daniel moves to answer it while I quickly gather the papers. Through the peephole, he sees my father standing in the hallway. "Ruby." Father's voice carries through the door. "We need to talk." Daniel looks at me, waiting for my decision. I nod, straightening my spine. Father walks in like he owns the place, his expensive suit a stark contrast to Daniel's modest apartment. His eyes catch on the hastily gathered papers, and something flickers across his face. "I see you've been busy," he says. "Learning about the family business," I reply. "The real one, not the charitable facade." He sits without being invited. "Your mother's worried sick. Lily says you've been making threats." "Threats?" I lean forward. "I haven't threatened anyone. I'm just finally paying attention to what's been happening right in front of me." "Whatever you think you know." "I know about the shell companies," I cut in. "The fake donations, the money laundering. Did you really think nobody would notice?" His face hardens. "You're out of your depth." "No, I'm finally swimming in the right pool." I push the offshore account document toward him. "Tell me, Father, was this Lily's signing bonus for keeping quiet about Ethan? Or was it payment for playing her part in your little scheme?" "You've always been dramatic," he says, but his hands clench. "Like your mother. Seeing conspiracies where there's only family looking out for its own." Daniel moves to stand behind my chair. "Is that what you call embezzling from your own charity? Looking out for family?" Father's eyes snap to him. "And you, the disgraced accountant who couldn't keep his mouth shut about client confidentiality. Is this revenge for being fired? Using my daughter to settle old scores?" "Daniel didn't tell me anything I couldn't have found myself," I say, though this is news to me. "The real question is, what happens when the board sees these records?" "You wouldn't dare." Father stands, looming over me. "You'd destroy everything this family has built." "You mean everything you've stolen?" I stand too, matching his posture. "What would your society friends say if they knew their charitable donations were funding Lily's apartment and Mother's shopping sprees?" "Think carefully about your next move," he warns. "There are things you don't know, Ruby. Things that could hurt more than just the family reputation." Before I can respond, my phone buzzes again, this time with a news alert. My blood runs cold as I read the headline, "Morrison Foundation executive accused of misappropriating funds." Father's smile is razor sharp. Did you think you were the only one who could play this game? I scan the article. My name appears prominently, alongside accusations of theft and fraud. They've set me up as the fall person. How long have you been planning this? I whisper. Since you started asking questions about the Christmas party transfer. He straightens his tie. We gave you every chance to fall in line, Ruby. Remember that. He leaves us standing there, the article glowing accusingly on my phone screen. Daniel immediately starts gathering documents. We need to move fast, he says. They've played their hand, but we still have the real evidence. I look at the papers, at the years of carefully documented fraud, at the proof of my family's true nature. They think they've won, I say, my voice steady despite the rage building in my chest. They think I'll run and hide like I always have. Daniel pauses. What are you thinking? I pick up the offshore account document, the one with both my father's and Lily's signatures. I'm thinking it's time to show them exactly who they created when they decided to make me the family scapegoat. The game has changed, but they've forgotten one crucial detail. I'm a Morrison too, and I learned from the best how to destroy someone completely. The police station's fluorescent lights make everything look sickly, including Detective Martinez's forced smile as she slides another document across the table. My lawyer, hastily arranged by Daniel, shifts uncomfortably beside me. Let's go through this again, Miss Morrison, Martinez says. The Foundation's records show you authorized these transfers. I stare at my signature on the papers. Perfect forgeries, down to the slight curl in the Y. Those aren't mine. They look authentic to our experts. Everything about my family looks authentic until you scratch the surface. The detective's phone buzzes. She checks it, and something changes in her expression. Your sister's here. She's offering to make a statement. Of course she is. I imagine Lily in the next room, perfectly composed, rehearsing her lines like she's done since we were children. The thought makes me want to scream, but I keep my voice steady. I'd like to see these experts of yours. Ruby, my lawyer warns. No, I mean it. I lean forward. Because someone who can forge signatures that well must be expensive. The kind of expensive that leaves a trail. The kind my father would know how to hide. Martinez studies me. You're claiming your father orchestrated this? I'm claiming my father orchestrates everything. I pull out my phone, pulling up the photos Daniel helped me gather, including these transfers to offshore accounts that coincidentally started right after he made Lily executive director. The detective's eyes narrow as she swipes through the images. Where did you get these? The same place I got proof that the Foundation's charitable works are about as real as my sister's conscience. A knock at the door interrupts us. Another detective enters, whispering something to Martinez. Her expression shifts again. Excuse me, she says, gathering her papers. Don't leave the room. Through the door's window, I watch Martinez approach a group in the hallway. My mother stands there, elegant even in crisis, while father speaks intensely with a man in an expensive suit. Lily hovers nearby, phone in hand, probably updating Ethan on their latest move against me. Your parents' lawyer is well connected, my lawyer murmurs. We should consider a deal. No, I turn away from the window. They want me to take the fall. Admit to embezzlement, spare the family name, probably get a suspended sentence thanks to father's influence. Then they'll ship me off somewhere quiet with a monthly stipend to keep my mouth shut. It might be the smartest play. It might be the expected play. I pull out one final document, the one Daniel and I held back. But they forgot something important about being the family disappointment. No one ever expects you to learn from what they teach you. Martinez returns, but she's not alone. A woman in a sharp FBI jacket follows her in. Miss Morrison, the agent says, I'm Special Agent Cooper. We'd like to discuss your family's international banking activities. I smile, thinking of Daniel's late nights tracking the money through shell companies and tax havens. I was wondering when you'd show up. Ruby, my lawyer starts, but I cut him off. It's okay. I've been preparing for this conversation. I look directly at Cooper. How would you like to know where every penny of the Morrison Foundation's charitable donations really went for the past decade? Cooper sits down, pulling out a recorder. Why don't you start at the beginning? Through the window, I see my father notice the FBI jacket. His face goes pale. Mother's hand flies to her pearls. The real ones, not the fakes she gave me. Lily stops typing mid-message, her perfect mask cracking. The beginning? I lean back, finally feeling in control. Well, it started with a Christmas party, a pair of pearls, and a family that thought they could keep me quiet by taking everything I loved. Cooper nods, pressing record. Take your time. I do. Because revenge, like the best family recipes, requires perfect timing and precise measurements. And I've been measuring this dish for years. You should know, I add, that this isn't just about money. It's about a pattern of manipulation that goes back years. And I have witnesses who can corroborate everything. Witnesses? Martinez asks, starting with Daniel Matthews, the accountant my father fired for asking too many questions, and ending with Sophie Chen, my husband's new girlfriend, who has some very interesting text messages from my sister about their plan to discredit me. The pieces are falling into place, and through the window, I watch my family realize it too. They taught me well. Too well. And now they'll learn what happens when the scapegoat decides to stop running. Sophie's text arrives at 3 a.m. Meet me at Riverside Park, 7 a.m. Come alone. I show it to Daniel, who's been up all night helping me sort through the FBI's questions. It's a trap, obviously. He rubs his tired eyes. Your father's probably behind it. Or Lily. I stare at the message, remembering how Sophie used to be my friend before she became Ethan's convenient consolation prize. Either way, I'm going. Ruby, I need to know what game they're playing. The park is empty when I arrive, except for Sophie sitting on our old favorite bench. She looks smaller somehow, less polished than usual. Her designer bag, a gift from my mother, I notice, sits between us like a barrier when I sit down. They're planning to pin everything on Daniel, she says without preamble. Your father has documents showing he orchestrated the whole scheme for revenge after being fired. My hands clench. Those would be forgeries like the ones they used on me. Does it matter? Your father's lawyers are better than yours. She pulls out a folder. These are copies of what they're going to present to the FBI. I don't take them. Why are you telling me this? Because I remember who you were before all this. Before your family twisted everything. She laughs bitterly. Before I let them twist me too. A jogger passes, and we both fall silent until he's gone. In the distance, I see a familiar car, Ethan's, parked just out of obvious sight. They're watching, aren't they? Sophie nods slightly. They think I'm here to convince you to take the deal. Plead guilty, spare the family name. They'll make sure you serve minimal time. And Daniel takes the fall for the financial fraud. It's a good offer, Ruby. Better than what's coming if you don't take it. I stand, finally understanding. You're not here to warn me. You're here to threaten me. I'm here because I owe you the truth. She reaches for my arm, but I step back. They have everything planned. The evidence against Daniel, the character witnesses, even a paper trail showing he manipulated you into turning against your family. And what do you get out of this? Ethan? My mother's approval? The life that was supposed to be mine? Her silence is answer enough. You know what's funny? I pull out my phone, stopping the recording. You just confirmed everything we suspected about the forgeries. The FBI will be very interested in this conversation. The color drains from her face. You can't. I already did. And Ethan can tell my father that his little scheme just gave us exactly what we needed. Ruby, wait. She grabs my arm, desperate now. You don't understand. They'll destroy you. They have things on you that even you don't know about. I lean close, speaking quietly. Let them try. Because what they don't understand is that I stopped being afraid of losing everything the moment they took it all away. My phone buzzes. Daniel, right on schedule. The FBI just picked up Lily. He texts. Your father's lawyer is calling everyone in for damage control. I show Sophie the message, watching her perfect facade crumble. You should go. I'm sure they'll want everyone on script before the media gets wind of this. They're your family, she whispers. How can you do this to them? They stopped being my family the moment they decided I was expendable. I start walking away, then turn back. Oh, and Sophie? Those documents you brought? They're inadmissible now. Fruit of the poisonous tree, my lawyer calls it. Say hello to my father's legal team for me. I walk away, my hands shaking but my stride steady. Daniel's waiting in our car around the corner, and through his window I can see Ethan's car peeling out of its hiding spot. You okay? Daniel asks as I slide in. I watch Sophie hurry toward Ethan's retreating car, clutching her designer bag like a shield. No, I answer honestly, but I will be. The FBI wants to meet again. They're particularly interested in those offshore accounts you mentioned. I nod, thinking of the dominoes we've carefully arranged. Then let's go knock down the first one. Because that's the thing about family legacies. They can be dismantled just as carefully as they were built. And I learned from the best how to tear something apart from the inside out. The Morrison family's disgrace unfolds in high definition across every news channel. I watch from Daniel's apartment as reporters dissect each new revelation. The fraudulent donations, the offshore accounts, the years of manipulation. My phone hasn't stopped buzzing with messages from former friends choosing sides. They're calling it the Morrison Foundation scandal, Daniel says, muting the TV. Your father's board members are jumping ship. I should feel triumphant. Instead, I feel hollow, watching my mother's carefully curated world crumble in real time. The latest footage shows her leaving their lawyer's office, pearl necklace conspicuously absent. My phone rings, an unknown number. Ruby Morrison. You've made your point. Lily's voice sounds raw, unfamiliar. They're freezing the foundation's assets. Father's having chest pains. Are you happy now? You don't get to play victim, Lily. Not after everything. They're investigating Daniel, too. Her words hit like ice water. Did you know about his connection to Sophie? Before he was fired? The room tilts slightly. What are you talking about? Ask him about the Christmas party, about why he really approached you afterward. I look at Daniel, who's suddenly very interested in his laptop screen. You're lying. For once, I'm not. Lily's laugh sounds broken. Guess we're both suckers for a good manipulation. The call ends. Daniel won't meet my eyes. What did she mean? My voice sounds distant to my own ears. About you and Sophie? Ruby, don't. I stand up, needing space. Just tell me the truth. For once, someone in my life tell me the truth. He closes his laptop slowly. Sophie and I dated briefly while I worked for your father's firm. She's the one who told me about the accounting irregularities. And the Christmas party? When you first talked to me? I knew who you were. Sophie had mentioned... He stops, seeing something in my expression. I approached you because I thought you might help expose what your father was doing. The room spins faster. So I was your way in? Your chance at revenge against my father? At first. He stands, reaching for me. But then I got to know you, and everything changed. Don't touch me. I step back, memories realigning with sickening clarity. All those conversations about standing up to my family, about fighting back, you were pushing me toward this from the start. I was trying to help you see the truth. The truth? I laugh, and it sounds like Lily's broken one. The truth is, I traded one manipulation for another. I just picked the better liar. My phone buzzes again. A news alert. The FBI is expanding their investigation to include Daniel's role in the foundation's finances. Another shows Ethan and Sophie leaving the federal building together, likely cutting deals to save themselves. They're going to say I helped you set this up, Daniel says quietly. Your father's lawyers will paint you as either a willing conspirator or an innocent dupe. Either way, I lose. The reality crashes down. God, I'm such an idiot. Ruby, please, let me explain. Explain what? How you used me to get back at my father? How you're no better than Ethan, than any of them? My voice cracks. I trusted you. His phone rings, his lawyer, probably with news about the investigation. We both stare at it, understanding what it means. They'll want him to turn on me, just like Sophie and Ethan, just like everyone eventually does. Don't answer it, I whisper, hating how much I still want to believe in him. We can figure this out together. He looks at me for a long moment, and I see the decision in his eyes before he reaches for the phone. I grab my keys and bag, heading for the door. Behind me, I hear him speaking to his lawyer, his voice taking on that familiar, reasonable tone he used to use with me. Used to convince me I could trust him. Outside, reporters spot me immediately. Their questions blur together as I push through them toward my car. Someone shouts about Daniel's connection to Sophie, another about my father's hospitalization. My phone buzzes one last time. A message from my mother. "Come home. We can still fix this as a family." I delete it without responding, but her words echo as I drive away from Daniel's apartment, away from another betrayal. Because that's the cruel joke of it all. There's nowhere left to go, no one left to trust. I've torn down everything, only to find myself buried in the rubble. The hospital corridor stretches before me like a gauntlet. My father's heart attack, real or conveniently timed, has drawn everyone here. Through the waiting room window, I see my mother holding court with concerned friends. Lily at her side. They've even managed to look appropriately distressed for the cameras outside. I stride past them, ignoring their startled expressions. Daniel's revelation has given me one last card to play, and I'm done waiting for the right moment. "Ruby!" Mother's voice carries that familiar warning tone. "This isn't the time." "It's exactly the time." I turn to face them, aware of the small audience we've attracted. "Where's the file?" Lily stands, all pretense of sisterly concern dropping from her face. "What file?" "The one proving father orchestrated everything, from Ethan's affair to Daniel's involvement. The one Sophie mentioned before she took her immunity deal." Mother's hand flies to her throat, finding no pearls to clutch. "Your father's had a heart attack. Whatever grievances you have are exactly why he's in that room." I step closer, lowering my voice. "He knew I'd found proof of the real fraud, didn't he? The children's hospitals that never saw a dime of foundation money? The families who thought they were getting medical care?" A nurse hurries past, and we all pause, playing our roles. The moment she's gone, Lily drops her voice to a hiss. "You have no idea what you're talking about." "Don't I?" I pull out my phone, showing them the email I received an hour ago. "The FBI is very interested in where that money actually went, especially since some of it traces back to accounts in your name, Lily." Her face drains of color. I didn't know." "Of course you didn't." I turn to Mother. Because that was the point, wasn't it? Keep Lily in the dark enough to be useful, but not informed enough to be dangerous. Just like you did with Ethan, with Sophie, with me. Everything we did was to protect this family. Mother steps between us, her mask finally cracking. "Your father built something magnificent. He built a lie." My voice rises despite myself. "And when I wouldn't play along, you decided to destroy me instead. The affair, Daniel's convenient appearance in my life, it was all orchestrated to discredit me if I ever discovered the truth." A commotion down the hall draws our attention. Father's doctor approaches, looking grave. Behind him, I glimpse Father sitting up in bed, very much alive and speaking intensely with his lawyer. "Mrs. Morrison," the doctor begins, but I cut him off. "Save the performance. He's not dying, is he? This whole scene is just another manipulation." Mother's expression hardens. "Security will escort you out." "Let them. I've already sent copies of everything to every major news outlet. The real fraud, the missing money, the families you exploited, it all goes public in..." I check my phone. 12 minutes. Lily grabs my arm. "You can't. They'll arrest all of us." "No, they'll arrest him." I nod toward Father's room. "And anyone who knowingly helped him. The question is, Lily, how much did you really know?" I see the exact moment she understands her position. The same position I was in all those years. The sacrificial daughter, meant to take the fall while the family survives. "Mother?" Lily turns, desperate, but Mother's already walking toward Father's room, probably to warn him. "You know what's funny?" I gently remove her hand from my arm. "I actually have nothing to do with the news stories. The FBI's been building their case for months. I just needed you all here, together, when it broke. One last family gathering." Lily's phone buzzes. The first headline hits. Then Mother's. Then every phone in the waiting room. Through the window, I see Father's lawyer stand abruptly, staring at his phone in horror. "You could have warned me," Lily whispers. "Like you warned me about Ethan? About Daniel?" I step back as FBI agents appear at both ends of the corridor. Goodbye, Lily. Try to pick better allies in prison than you did in life. I walk away as the agents move in, their warrants ready. Behind me, I hear Mother's carefully controlled voice finally crack, Father's lawyer demanding everyone remain silent, Lily's heels clicking frantically on the hospital floor as she tries to escape, but I don't look back. I've spent enough time watching my family destroy things. Now I get to watch them face the consequences. And for the first time since this all began, the hollow feeling in my chest starts to fill with something that feels surprisingly like peace. I sit alone in the courtroom as my father receives his sentence. 20 years for fraud, embezzlement, and exploitation. Mother got 12, her carefully maintained composure finally cracking as they led her away. Lily took a plea deal. 3 years, in exchange for her testimony. The media circus has mostly moved on to fresher scandals, though our family's fall still makes occasional headlines. The latest shows Ethan and Sophie's engagement announcement. Their smiles as practiced as ever. They're rebuilding their lives on the West Coast, far from the wreckage here. The courtroom's closing soon, Miss Morrison. The janitor's voice echoes in the empty chamber. Just a minute more, I say, running my fingers over the smooth wooden barrier. This room has held so many endings lately. So many carefully constructed lies torn apart under oath. My phone buzzes. A text from Daniel. He's been trying to explain, to apologize, to find some way back. I delete it without reading, just like all the others. Some betrayals can't be undone, even if they led to necessary ends. Outside, autumn leaves scatter across the courthouse steps. A familiar figure waits by the bottom. Lily, out on bail until her sentencing next week. She's traded her designer clothes for something simpler, more honest somehow. I thought I'd find you here, she says as I approach. One last look at the battlefield? Something like that. I stop a few steps above her, maintaining the height advantage we both understand is symbolic. Shouldn't you be preparing for your new life? I've been thinking about Christmas. She wraps her arms around herself, looking smaller than I've ever seen her. That party, when Mother gave me the pearls, you weren't the only one being manipulated that night. Lily, no, let me finish. She turns, facing me fully. I thought I was their favorite, their perfect daughter, but I was just another puppet. They knew about my gambling debts, used them to control me. The affair with Ethan, the foundation position, it was all orchestrated to keep us both in line. I study her face, searching for the familiar signs of manipulation. Instead, I find something new. Clarity. Why are you telling me this now? Because you were right about everything except one thing. She reaches into her bag, pulling out a familiar strand of pearls. These were meant for you. I stole them from Mother's room the night before Christmas. It was the first time I actively chose to hurt you, instead of just following their script. She holds them out, but I don't take them. Keep them. They're part of your restitution now. That's not why. She stops, dropping her hand. I don't expect forgiveness. I just wanted you to know that at least one person in this family finally sees you clearly. A court officer appears at the top of the steps. Miss Morrison? There's some final paperwork for the estate settlement. I nod, then turn back to Lily. I hope you find whatever you're looking for in prison. I really do. What about you? What are you looking for now? The question catches me off guard. For so long, my purpose has been revenge, justice, survival. Now, standing here in the aftermath, I realize I don't know. I'm looking for the person I might have been, I say finally, if I hadn't spent so long trying to be who everyone else wanted. Lily nods, understanding passing between us for perhaps the first time. She's probably amazing, she says softly, then turns and walks away, the pearls clutched in her fist. I watch her go, feeling something shift inside me. Not forgiveness, I'm not sure I'll ever manage that, but maybe understanding, maybe even peace. The officer clears his throat politely. I climb the steps, ready to sign the papers that will officially dissolve the Morrison Foundation and distribute its remaining assets to the families we hurt. Ready to close this chapter of my life. But as I reach for the pen, I realize something. Revenge wasn't the end of my story. It was just the beginning of a different one. One where I get to write every page myself, without anyone else's expectations or manipulations. I sign my name, Just Ruby, no Morrison. I'm Titay, and step into whatever comes next.
The sound of breaking glass downstairs jolts me from my chemistry homework. Not the delicate tinkle of a dropped cup, but the violent crash of something being thrown. I know that sound too well lately. I want her gone by Friday. Frank's voice booms through the floorboards. I'm done playing nice about this. I'm 19, and I've learned to hold my breath during these conversations. My fingers curl around my pencil until my knuckles turn white, but I keep writing equations as if nothing's happening, as if my entire world isn't being dismantled, one argument at a time. She's my daughter, Mom says, her voice carrying that familiar tremor, the one that means she's already given up. We can't just throw her out. Your daughter. Frank spits the words like they're poison. Who's eating our food, taking up space, and bringing down the whole mood of this house? I've got a baby on the way, Sheila. A real family to think about. A real family. The words hit me like a physical blow. I've lived in this house since I was 4, long before Frank showed up with his perfect smile and empty promises. Now, at 7 months into Mom's pregnancy, he's finally showing his true colors. Linda said she'd take her, Mom offers weekly. Just until she finishes college. The pencil snaps in my grip. Aunt Linda's house. That woman runs her home like a military compound, complete with curfews and mandatory family dinners, where she lectures everyone about their life choices. Heavy footsteps thunder up the stairs. I barely have time to straighten up before my door flies open, banging against the wall. Frank fills the door frame, his face flushed red. Pack your bags, he says, not even looking at me directly. You're leaving Friday. This is my house too, I say, surprised by how steady my voice sounds. Grandmother left. Your grandmother left everything to your mother. Frank cuts me off. And your mother agrees with me, don't you, Sheila? Mom appears behind him, wringing her hands. Her eyes meet mine for a split second before darting away. It's just temporary, honey, until things settle down. Things? I stand up slowly. You mean until the baby comes? Until I'm completely erased from this family. Don't be dramatic, Frank scoffs. You're an adult now, time to stand on your own 2 feet. I look around my room, at the photos on the walls, the books on the shelves, the entire life I've built here. And if I refuse, Frank steps closer, lowering his voice. Then I'll have you removed, legally, your choice. Mom makes a small sound of protest, but she doesn't move to stop him. She never does anymore. I'll need more than 2 days, I say, fighting to keep my voice level, to pack everything. Take what you need for now. The rest can wait. Frank's tone suggests the rest might disappear if I don't move fast enough. Linda's expecting you Friday evening. They leave without another word, closing the door behind them. I sink onto my bed, my hand shaking as I pull out my phone and text Tina. It's happening. They're kicking me out. Her response comes quickly. OMG, what? Want me to come over? I stare at the message, thinking about Grandmother Margaret's last words to me before she died. Sometimes the best revenge is patience, dear. Watch, wait, and when the moment comes, strike true. I type back, no, I need to handle this myself. Standing up, I walk to my closet and pull out the small lockbox hidden behind my winter clothes. Inside is Grandmother's letter, the one I haven't shown anyone yet, the one that changes everything. You want me gone, Frank? I whisper to myself, running my fingers over the sealed envelope. Be careful what you wish for. Friday isn't going to go the way they expect. Not at all. Aunt Linda's house smells like artificial lavender and disappointment. She stands in her pristine foyer, clipboard in hand, as if I'm checking into a prison rather than moving in with family. Rule number 1, she says, tapping her pen against the paper. Curfew is 9 o'clock sharp. No exceptions. I shift my duffel bag on my shoulder, the weight of Grandmother's letter pressing against my hip through the hidden pocket. I have evening classes that end at 8:30. Then you'll need to run. Her lips twist into what might be a smile. Rule number 2, You'll participate in family dinner every evening at 6. That means being present and engaged, not hiding behind your phone. The clock on her wall ticks loudly in the silence as she continues down her list. Each rule feels like another bar in a cage. No visitors without prior approval, mandatory church attendance, weekly progress reports on my life goals. And of course, she adds, you'll contribute to household expenses. $300 monthly should cover it. My fingers curl into fists. Mom said, "Your mother isn't here." Linda's voice carries an edge sharp enough to cut. And frankly, given her poor judgment lately, I wouldn't put much stock in her promises. She leads me upstairs to what she calls my temporary accommodation. A narrow room that looks more like a closet with a window. The walls are bare, except for a cross above the single bed, and the desk barely has space for my laptop. "Dinner's in 30 minutes, she announces. "I expect you cleaned up and properly dressed. No jeans at the table." After she leaves, I pull out my phone to text Tina, but there's no signal. Of course, I move to the window and finally get one bar. "In hell, send help." The response comes quickly. "That bad?" Before I can reply, Linda's voice carries up the stairs. "Ariel, phone away and come help set the table." I stuff my phone in my pocket and head downstairs, where Linda's arranging plates with military precision. She hands me a stack of napkins without looking up. "Your mother called while you were unpacking," she says casually. "They're converting your old room into the nursery. Frank asked if you wanted any of your remaining things or if they should donate them." The napkins crumple in my grip. They can, and they are. She straightens a fork that was already perfectly aligned. "It's time to accept your new reality, Ariel. This attitude of yours won't serve you here." I force myself to smooth out the napkins, placing them beside each plate while my mind races. They're erasing me, piece by piece, thinking I'll just accept it, like Mom accepts everything Frank does. Linda's husband, George, arrives home just before 6, barely acknowledging my presence, before taking his seat at the head of the table. Linda serves some kind of casserole that tastes like cardboard and expectations. "So," George says between bites, "Linda tells me you're studying chemistry?" "Yes, waste of time," he interrupts. "Should be learning something practical, business maybe, or nursing, if you insist on science." Linda nods approvingly. "I've been saying that. All those student loans, for what? To mix chemicals in a lab?" "Actually," I say, keeping my voice steady, "Grandmother Margaret left money for my education. No loans needed." The silence that follows is deafening. Linda's fork scrapes against her plate with a sound like nails on a chalkboard. "That's not possible," she says finally. "Mother's estate was quite clear, was it?" I meet her gaze across the table. "Because grandmother told me lots of interesting things before she died. About the estate, about the family, about you." Linda's face pales slightly, but she recovers quickly. "Well, clearly she was confused near the end. Now about your contribution to the household. I think I'll wait to discuss that until I've had a chance to review grandmother's paperwork," I say, watching her reaction carefully. "All of it." She sets down her fork with a sharp click. "Go to your room. We'll discuss your attitude in the morning." I stand, gathering my plate. "Good night, Aunt Linda, Uncle George. Thank you for dinner." In my room, I finally pull out grandmother's letter, running my fingers over the seal. Not yet, I think. The timing isn't right, but soon, very soon. My phone buzzes. Another text from Tina. "Need an escape plan?" I smile as I type back, "No, need a revenge plan." And I think I just found my first weakness to exploit. After 2 weeks of Linda's suffocating rules, I finally break the seal on grandmother's letter. My hands tremble as I read it in the pre-dawn darkness, using my phone's flashlight under the covers like a child with a forbidden book. The truth hits like a physical blow. Legal documents fall from the envelope. Adoption papers, property deeds, bank statements, my name over and over, not just as a beneficiary, but as Margaret's legally adopted daughter. A knock startles me. I shove everything under my pillow as Linda opens the door without waiting for a response. "Why is your light on at 5 a.m.? She flicks on the overhead light. "You're burning electricity I'm paying for." "Actually," I say, heart pounding against my ribs, "I think you'll find you're not paying for anything in this house." Her eyes narrow. "Excuse me?" Grandmother Margaret's name is still on all the utilities. And the mortgage. Isn't that strange? Linda's face does something complicated, like she's swallowing glass. "You've been snooping." "I've been investigating my inheritance." I pull out one of the documents. "Did you know she adopted me? Legally. 3 years ago." The color drains from her face. "That's impossible. She wouldn't." "But she did." I stand up, finding strength in her uncertainty. "And according to these papers, this house belongs to me." Linda snatches the document from my hand, scanning it frantically. "These could be forged. You think you can just—" "Morning." A male voice calls from outside. Through the window, I see David, the next-door neighbor, collecting his newspaper. Linda freezes. "David's a real estate lawyer, isn't he?" I ask innocently. "Maybe we should ask his opinion." "This is ridiculous," Linda hisses, but her hands are shaking. "You're just a child playing games." "No, I'm Margaret's legally adopted daughter, and I have questions, like why you've been collecting rent from 3 tenants in grandmother's properties while telling Mom the buildings were empty." She takes a step back. "How did you—" "I have her files, all of them, including the recordings." "This is a bluff. I don't have recordings." But Linda's reaction tells me they exist somewhere. Her face goes from white to gray. "What do you want?" she whispers. "First, breakfast. I'm thinking waffles. Then we'll discuss your new tenant, me, and my terms for keeping certain information private. You wouldn't dare expose." "Try me." I meet her gaze steadily. "Grandmother taught me a lot about patience and revenge." The sound of a car door makes us both turn. Through the window, I see Mom getting out of her SUV, one hand on her pregnant belly. "Perfect timing," I say. "Should we share the news about my adoption over breakfast?" Linda grabs my arm, her nails digging in. "Wait, just wait. We can discuss this privately, like you discussed things privately with Frank, convincing him that kicking me out was the only option." Her grip loosens in surprise. "How did you—" "I know everything, Aunt Linda. Every scheme, every manipulation, every lie." Another bluff. But her reaction confirms I'm hitting close to home. The question is, what are you willing to do to keep it all quiet? The doorbell rings. Linda looks like she might be sick. "Better answer that," I say softly. "And remember, I learned from the best about keeping secrets. Grandmother made sure of that." She backs away, clutching the adoption papers. "This isn't over." "No," I agree, watching her hurry downstairs. "It's just beginning." I hear Mom's voice floating up from below, asking if I'm awake yet. Linda's response is too quiet to make out, but I can imagine her scrambling to maintain control. My phone buzzes. A text from Tina. "Did you open it?" I type back, "Yes, and it's better than we thought. Way better." The sound of Linda's forced cheerfulness drifts up the stairs as she invites Mom in for coffee. I smile, thinking of grandmother's words in the letter. "Power isn't about having control, dear. It's about making others believe you do." Time to show them exactly how well I learned that lesson. David catches me at the mailbox, his lawyer's briefcase swinging casually at his side. "Interesting morning at the Thompson house," he says, nodding toward Linda's, my property. "Saw your mom leaving in quite a state." I sort through the mail, keeping my voice neutral. "Family drama." "Must be." Linda's been making calls all day, mostly to her bank, from what I could hear through the fence. He pauses, studying me. "You know, I handled some of your grandmother Margaret's estate work." My fingers freeze on an envelope. "Did you?" "Smart woman, Margaret, always 10 steps ahead." He pulls out a business card, writes something on the back. "If you need those adoption papers reviewed, my office hours are listed here. The other number's my cell." I take the card, turning it over. There's a time written on the back, 3 p.m. "Thanks," I say, understanding the invitation. "I might take you up on that." Inside, Linda's pacing the kitchen, phone pressed to her ear. No, I need those records today. Yes, I understand it's irregular, but… She spots me and ends the call abruptly. Going somewhere? She asks, eyeing my jacket. Class. I hold up David's card. And then a legal consultation. She sets the phone down with exaggerated care. You really want to do this? Air all our dirty laundry. You mean your dirty laundry? I lean against the door frame. Like what really happened to grandmother's jewelry collection? The one you told Mom was stolen. Her face tightens. You're playing a dangerous game. No, I'm ending one. Your game. I check my phone. Mom's probably wondering about our interesting breakfast conversation. Should I fill her in on what we discussed? Wait. Linda moves to block my path. What do you want? Money? The house? Name it. I study her desperate expression, remembering all the times she lorded her power over others. Over Mom, over me. I want everything, I say softly. Everything you took, everything you lied about, everything you thought you could get away with. You ungrateful little… Careful, I cut her off. Remember who owns these walls now. The front door opens. George, returning early from work. Linda's eyes widen in panic. Don't, she whispers. He doesn't know about the properties, about the money I've been keeping from him. I finish. Imagine that. Secrets in a marriage. George appears in the kitchen doorway, frowning at the tension. Everything okay here? Perfect, I say brightly. Aunt Linda and I were just discussing inheritance law. Did you know? Nothing important, Linda interrupts. Ariel was leaving for class, weren't you? I shoulder my bag, enjoying her discomfort. We'll continue this later. Oh, and I invited Mom over for dinner. Hope that's okay, since it is my house now. I leave them in the kitchen, Linda's frantic explanation fading behind me. Outside, I check the time. 2 hours until my meeting with David. Just enough time to visit the bank, where grandmother kept her safe deposit box. The key was hidden in the adoption papers, along with a note. For when the truth becomes your weapon. My phone buzzes with a text from Mom. Linda called. Said you're making strange claims. We need to talk. Another from Frank. Stop causing trouble, or there will be consequences. And finally one from Tina. Holy shit, they're freaking out. What did you do? I smile, pocketing my phone. Without responding. Let them stew in their uncertainty. Let them wonder what else I know, what evidence I have. Grandmother's voice echoes in my memory. Patience, dear one. The best revenge isn't swift or violent. It's watching them destroy themselves with their own fears. I head toward the bank, my steps light with purpose. Linda's desperate face, Frank's threats, Mom's confusion, all pieces falling into place. But David's involvement adds a wild card I hadn't expected. What else did grandmother tell him? What other surprises wait in that safe deposit box? The weight of the key in my pocket feels like possibility, like power, like justice, or maybe just revenge. Right now, I'm not sure I care which. The safe deposit box contains exactly 3 items: a USB drive, a small leather journal, and a silver locket I remember from grandmother's neck. My hands shake as I plug the drive into my laptop in David's office. Your grandmother mentioned you might come looking for this, David says, closing his office door. She was very specific about the timing. Files populate my screen, hundreds of them. Financial records, property deeds, photographs, years of Linda's careful manipulation, documented in meticulous detail. She knew, I whisper. All this time she knew what Linda was doing. Margaret knew everything. David leans against his desk, including what Frank and Linda were planning for you. A video file catches my eye. Linda and Frank in what looks like a coffee shop, dated 3 months before grandmother's death. I click play, and their voices fill the room. Once Margaret's gone, we move the girl out. Frank says, Linda gets the properties, I get the house, everyone wins. Except Ariel, Linda replies, laughing. The image blurs as tears fill my eyes. They planned this before she died. My phone buzzes. Mom calling again. I silence it, but not before seeing her text. Frank's furious, says you're making threats. Please stop this. Your grandmother left you a choice, David says quietly. Read the journal. The leather book feels heavy in my hands. Inside, grandmother's elegant script fills the pages. I flip to the last entry, dated a week before she died. My dearest Ariel, by now you know the truth. You have two paths before you, justice or vengeance. Choose carefully. One will heal you, the other will hollow you. The evidence is yours to use as you see fit. But remember, some victories cost more than defeats. A knock interrupts my reading. Through David's office window, I see Linda standing in the reception area, looking desperate. I didn't expect her to crack this quickly, David muses. She hasn't. I slip the journal into my bag. She's here to threaten, not surrender. Linda bursts in without waiting for permission. Whatever she's told you, she says. To David, there's more to the story. Like the missing insurance money? I ask. Or the forged documents for grandmother's properties. You don't understand what you're doing. Linda's voice shakes. Frank has connections. He can make things very difficult. Are you threatening my client? David straightens. Suddenly, every inch the lawyer. I'm trying to protect her. Linda's composure cracks. Frank's not who you think. He's dangerous when he's crossed. A chill runs down my spine. What do you mean, dangerous? Ask your mother about the accident. Linda's eyes dart between us. The one that really killed your father. The room seems to tilt. My father died of a heart attack. Is that what Sheila told you? Linda laughs bitterly. God, you're as naive as she was. Frank had debts. Your father knew too much. You're lying. But my voice sounds hollow. Check the USB, Linda says. Margaret had proof. Why do you think she adopted you? She was trying to protect you from him. My phone buzzes again. Tina this time. Your mom just showed up at my place looking for you. She's crying. Time's up, Linda, David says firmly. I suggest you leave before I call security. She backs toward the door. Just be careful, Ariel. Some secrets are buried for a reason. After she leaves, I sit heavily in David's guest chair. Could she be telling the truth? About Frank? David hands me a file from his desk. Your grandmother thought so. That's why she left you this. Inside is a police report I've never seen before. My father's name, Frank's, a suspicious accident that was never fully investigated. My revenge against Linda suddenly seems small, petty even. What if I've been focusing on the wrong enemy all along? What do? I whisper. David's expression is grave. That depends. Do you want justice or vengeance? I touch the locket in my pocket, remembering grandmother's words about choices and costs. The weight of her legacy, both the truth she uncovered and the weapons she left me, settles heavily on my shoulders. My phone lights up with another text from Mom. Please come home. We need to talk about your father. Sometimes I realize revenge isn't about destroying your enemies. Sometimes it's about exposing the truth, no matter who gets burned in the process, even if that someone is you. I find Mom waiting in Tina's apartment, her face streaked with tears. The police report burns in my bag like a live coal. Did you know? The words come out before I can stop them. About Dad's accident? She flinches as if I'd struck her. Who told you? Does it matter? Did you know Frank was involved? It's not that simple. Her hands flutter to her pregnant belly, protective. You don't understand what it was like back then. Then explain it to me. I remain standing while she sits, needing the height, the distance. Explain how you married the man who, he protected us. Her outburst echoes in the small room. Your father's gambling debts. There were dangerous people involved. Frank made it all go away. By making Dad go away, I didn't know. Her voice cracks. Not until after. Frank said it was an accident, that he tried to help. A key turns in the lock, Tina returning. But the door opens to reveal Frank instead, his bulk filling the door frame. My heart stutters. How did you get in? I back away instinctively. He holds up a key. Your friend should be more careful about where she leaves her spare. His smile doesn't reach his eyes. We need to talk about these accusations you're throwing around. Frank, please, Mom starts, but he cuts her off with a look. I've been patient, he says, closing the door behind him. Tolerant. But you're becoming a problem, Ariel, just like your father was. Is that a threat? I reach for my phone, but it's not in my pocket. I'd left it charging in Tina's room. It's a fact. He moves further into the room. You think you've got it all figured out, with your grandmother's evidence and Linda's confession. But you're missing the bigger picture. The picture where you killed my father? His laugh is cold. Your father killed himself. I just helped things along, like I'm going to help you understand your place in this family. Frank, Mom struggles to stand. You promised. I promised to protect our family. He snaps. That's what I'm doing. Your daughter's threatening everything we've built. By exposing the truth. Truth? He pulls something from his jacket, a familiar leather journal. My blood runs cold. You mean like the truth in here, about how your precious grandmother was embezzling from her own company, how she manipulated everyone around her? You're lying. Am I? He tosses the journal onto the coffee table. Check the last pages, the ones she didn't want you to see. My hands shake as I pick it up. There, in grandmother's handwriting, are details of financial transactions, hidden accounts, manipulated records. She wasn't protecting you, Frank says softly. She was protecting herself, using you as a pawn, just like I used Linda, just like everyone uses everyone else. No. But the evidence is there in black and white. You want revenge? He spreads his arms. Go ahead, expose everything. But remember, the truth burns everyone it touches, including you, including your mother, including your grandmother's precious legacy. Mom's crying quietly now, one hand pressed to her mouth. The weight of it all, the lies, the manipulations, the generations of betrayal, crashes down on me. What do you want? My voice sounds hollow, defeated. Sign over the properties, all of them. Walk away from this vendetta before it destroys what's left of your family. He pulls out papers from his jacket. Your mother needs peace. Your sibling deserves a fresh start. The papers blur before my eyes. Everything I thought I knew, everyone I thought I could trust, all of it built on lies. Don't, Mom whispers. Please, Ariel, don't. Quiet, Frank commands, and she falls silent, just like always. I stare at the papers, at Frank's expectant smile, at Mom's tears. Grandmother's last words echo in my mind. Some victories cost more than defeats. But what about the cost of surrender? My phone chirps distantly from Tina's room. Probably David wondering why I missed our follow-up meeting. David, who has copies of everything. David, who knows things even Frank doesn't know yet. I need time, I say, hating how weak my voice sounds. To think. Frank's smile widens. You have until tomorrow. Choose wisely. He leads Mom out, leaving me alone with the journal, the papers, and the crushing weight of understanding that sometimes the greatest betrayals come from those we trusted most. But maybe, just maybe, that's also true for salvation. The USB drive feels heavy in my pocket as I walk into the family meeting Frank arranged. Everyone's gathered in grandmother's old study. Mom, Frank, Linda, even George. David waits outside with copies of everything, ready to act if I don't check in within an hour. Have you made your decision? Frank asks, gesturing to the paper on the desk. I pick up the pen, turning it slowly. Actually, I have some documents of my own to share first. Linda shifts nervously in her chair. Ariel, think carefully about... Oh, I have. I connect the USB drive to grandmother's old computer, still sitting in its place of honor. Did you know she never turned this off? Just left it running, recording everything. Frank's smile falters. What are you talking about? The screen flickers to life, showing security footage of this very room. Dated 3 days before grandmother died. I found something interesting, I say, pressing play. Watch. On screen, Frank and Linda stand arguing with grandmother. The audio is crystal clear. You can't prove anything, Frank says. I can prove everything, grandmother replies. The money laundering, the accident, all of it. Did you really think I wouldn't protect my granddaughter? Present-day Frank lunges for the computer, but I'm faster, backing away with the remote. Keep watching. It gets better. Linda's voice emerges from the speakers. We had a deal, Margaret. I keep quiet about Frank's involvement in the accident. And you? Enough, Frank shouts, but Mom raises her hand. Let it play, she says quietly. I need to hear this. The footage continues, revealing layer after layer of manipulation. Frank's schemes, Linda's complicity, the truth about my father's death. Mom's hands cover her mouth, tears streaming down her face. You're not the only one who can gather evidence, I tell Frank. Grandmother taught me well. Evidence of what? He tries to sound confident, but his eyes keep darting to the screen. Some edited footage? Proves nothing. Maybe not alone. I pull out my phone, showing the email I'd queued up. But combined with these financial records David helped me uncover, the police might be interested. You wouldn't dare. Linda stands, panic in her eyes. Think about your mother, your sibling. I am thinking about them. I look at Mom. That's why I already sent everything to the district attorney. 10 minutes ago. The room erupts in chaos. Frank lunges for me again, but George surprisingly steps in his way. Don't, George says. It's over. Linda collapses into her chair. How long have you known about you embezzling from our joint accounts? George's voice is ice. Long enough. I was just waiting to see who would expose you first. Mom stands slowly, one hand on her belly. All this time, you both knew how my husband really died. Sheila, Frank starts, but she cuts him off. Don't. She turns to me. The recordings. Are there more? I nod. Grandmother kept everything. She knew someday we'd need the truth. Frank's phone buzzes, a text message that drains the remaining color from his face. They're here. Through the window, we can see police cars pulling up to the house. You know what the funny thing is, I say, watching Frank's world crumble. I was ready to sign those papers this morning, to give up everything just to keep the peace. Then why didn't you? Linda asks quietly. Because I found one last recording, from the day before Grandmother died. I press play one final time. Grandmother's voice fills the room. Remember, Ariel, revenge isn't about destroying your enemies. It's about protecting those who remain. Choose truth over peace, justice over vengeance. That's my real legacy to you. The sound of footsteps on the stairs grows louder. Frank looks desperately for an escape route, but there isn't one. Goodbye, Frank, Mom says softly. I should have chosen truth a long time ago. The door opens, and justice, delayed but not denied, finally arrives. I watch them lead Frank and Linda away, feeling not triumph, but a heavy sort of peace. Grandmother was right. The truth burns everyone it touches. But sometimes, that's exactly what's needed to forge something new from the ashes. The house feels different as I pack up Grandmother's study. Each object holds a memory now. The computer that revealed the truth, the desk where Frank signed his confession, the chair where Mom finally broke her silence about Dad's death. David helps me sort through the last of the papers. The DA says Frank's plea deal includes full restitution. Money can't fix everything. I place Grandmother's silver locket in a special box, the one thing I'm keeping. Mom's not speaking to me. She will, he says, but we both know it might take years. The truth about Dad broke something in her that even time might not heal. The doorbell rings. Linda's daughter Emma, here to collect her mother's remaining belongings before the house sells. I find her in the foyer, looking small and lost. I'm sorry, I say, meaning it. About everything. She nods stiffly. Mom told me. She told me why Grandmother Margaret did it. Why she set all this up. Did what? Emma pulls out a familiar leather journal. Not the one Frank had, but another, older one. She knew about the affair between Mom and Frank years ago, before he married your mother. The world tilts slightly. What? They were planning something together. Back then, something about the company, but Grandmother caught them, and Emma's voice breaks. She gave them a choice, stop, or she'd make sure they destroyed each other eventually. I think about all the evidence Grandmother gathered. the way she positioned everyone like pieces on a chessboard. She planned this, all of it. She knew they wouldn't stop, so she made sure when they finally fell, they'd fall together. Emma hands me the journal. "Mom wanted you to have this," she said. She said, "Maybe now you'll understand why some victories feel hollow." I opened the journal to find a letter addressed to me in grandmother's handwriting. "My dearest Ariel, if you're reading this, you've chosen justice over vengeance. But justice has its own price. The truth you fought so hard to expose was orchestrated long ago by hands just as stained as those you sought to punish, including mine." The front door opens again. Tina, bringing boxes for the last of the packing. She stops when she sees my face. "You okay?" she asks. I close the journal, feeling the weight of grandmother's final lesson. I thought I was fighting for the truth, but I was just the last move in someone else's game. "Does it matter?" David asked quietly. The truth still needed telling. Maybe he's right. Maybe the motivation behind justice matters less than justice itself. But as I help Emma carry her mother's things to her car, I can't help but wonder about the cost of righteousness, about the fine line between vengeance and vindication. Later, in what used to be my bedroom, I find one last surprise: a key taped behind a loose baseboard, with a note in Mom's handwriting. "For when you're ready to come home, some things are stronger than truth." I add it to the chain holding grandmother's locket, understanding finally what she meant in her last recording. Revenge isn't about destroying your enemies. It's about protecting those who remain. But sometimes, in protecting them, we hurt them in ways we never intended. The house sells the next day. I use the money exactly as grandmother specified. Half to a trust for Mom's new baby, my sister-to-be, and half to a scholarship fund in Dad's name. Not for revenge or justice, but for healing. As I lock up for the last time, I see Mom across the street, watching. She doesn't wave or come over, but she doesn't turn away either. It's not forgiveness, not yet, but maybe it's a start. I touch the key on my chain, feeling its potential. Some doors close forever, but others just wait for the right moment to open again. "Ready?" Tina asks from the car. I look at the house one last time, seeing not the battlefield it became, but the home it used to be, the home it might be again, someday, for someone else. "Yeah," I say, turning away. "I'm ready." The truth may have burned everyone it touched, but from those ashes, something new can grow, something stronger than revenge, more lasting than justice, something like hope.